In this video, I want to talk about my 5-step process to help you reach your New Year's goals and resolutions. So let's jump right in. What's going on, guys? Armando Gong here, and I wanted to dive into this topic because it's a brand new year, 2021, and we are all making our New Year's resolutions and goals, and I wanted to give everybody a process that they could follow so that they're able to reach their goals and resolutions this year rather than letting them fall to the wayside like so many times they do. The first step for me is reflecting on where you have been, because I think a lot of times we focus on a lot of the negatives of something that we are trying to accomplish rather than the positives, and we always set off on the wrong foot for whatever we are trying to do rather than celebrate the small wins that we have accomplished in our goal. In a lot of the things that we are trying to do, we always focus on the things that we haven't done or we're not able to accomplish rather than on the little steps that we've already taken to reach that goal. And I think it's always good to celebrate those little wins, focus on what you've already accomplished, and be in the right headspace to be like, I can achieve whatever goal I'm trying to go for. Also, we are always comparing ourselves to people that are usually very far ahead of us in whatever goal we are accomplishing. And that is not beneficial to everybody. You don't know where they have been. You don't know how far along the journey that they have been on. You don't know how much time they've been on. And the only person you should be comparing to is yourself and what you have done to try and reach your goal. So I think it's always best to just see where you've been, see where you are now, and see just how far you've come along in your own journey. The second step in my process is to actually do some goal setting. And before I talk more about it, I would like to actually define some certain goals so that we are all on the same page. When I'm talking about goal setting, I like to think that there are like 3 different types of goals. The first one being outcome-based goals, performance-based goals, and process-based goals. Outcome-based goals is something I like to think of as creating an outcome that you want that is somewhat outside of your control. And I think a good example of that would be if you competed in sports and the goal is to win a championship that is somewhat outside of your control, because there are a lot of things that have to factor into that. And if you base your goal as solely just winning that championship, that would be considered an outcome-based goal. Performance-based goals is something that you can actually control, but at the same time, you are basically dictating what you want to be able to do. And one example of this is that if you want to set a goal for yourself to run a mile in 6 minutes or less, or a very specific time, that would be considered a performance-based goal. A process-based goal is you setting the goal that you would follow your plan, you would do whatever you set out to do in order to achieve one of those performance-based goals or outcome-based goals. And one example of that would be you setting a weekly program to run 3 times a week, 30 minutes each session, and sticking to that for the rest of the year, and that would be considered a process-based goal. I think it's important to define what type of goal you are trying to achieve, because in my experience, performance-based goals and outcome-based goals, if you are measuring your success on those 2 types of goals, it can set you up for disappointment because there are lots of factors outside of your control which can dictate whether you succeed in these goals. And driving all your success based on those goals can be an unproductive venture. Rather, I think it makes sense to, use your performance-based goals and your outcome-based goals to set some process-based goals. So for example, if I want to run the 6-minute mile, I would need to develop a certain training plan in order to hit that. Now, hopefully whatever plan I make and decide on is reasonable and it makes sense, but if I make it the goal to follow this plan, most likely I'll be faster than where I was previously before taking the plan. And hopefully I will get to 6 minutes, but if not, I'll be pretty happy because I put in a lot of work. I think that that's a great measure of success. You're being consistent at something, you're trying to reach that goal, and if I don't hit that goal, that's okay, because I hit my other goals of actually sticking to the program and being productive towards that goal. Now, the third step in my process is to reverse engineer that goal, meaning how exactly are you going to reach that goal? Depending on what goal you also have a specific time frame, and how you break that up to get to that goal is important and tells you what type of work you need to do to get there. The whole point of reverse engineering your goal is to break it down into smaller tasks that you know you need to accomplish to know that you are along the goal, and to give you some measurable progress to know that you are along the right track. And it gives you a good breakdown of how much time is needed, what resources are that you need to do this goal, and how much effort is required for it. I'll give you a quick example of my life that I need to apply this to. I signed up for an online course that is about to take roughly 100 hours to complete. I want to complete it in roughly 3 months' time, which is approximately 12 weeks. So what that means is over the course of 12 weeks, 100 hours divided by 12 means that I have to devote about 8 to 9 hours of class time per week in order to complete this. And that's just one example of how you can reverse engineer a specific goal that you're looking for. And the fourth step in my process is to actually schedule the tasks that you need to do into your calendar, because a lot of times I know that we take on a lot of things that we think we can do, but at the end of the day we don't do. And it's very important to actually delegate time, put it into your calendar, know when you can actually do these things so that you can actually reach the goal that you are trying to reach. Many times, I know I am guilty of this, where I say I will do something, but I never make the time for it. I eventually forget about it. I don't prioritize it enough, and then it falls to the wayside, and I'll say I'll do it the next time and just push it off, and eventually my goal doesn't get reached, and I have nothing to show for it. Rather, it is more productive to actually schedule it into your calendar, make a note of it, write it down somewhere, put it into Google Calendars, your planner, whatever you choose to do, and actually make a conscious effort to do the tasks for your specific goal. The fifth step in my process is to actually do the things that you are planning to do, meaning that you actually act on it. It's a very simple thing to say, but it's also a very difficult thing to do. I say this because, as I said earlier, we always think that we can do a lot more things than we can achieve in a certain day. For example, we might plan to have like 10 or 15 different tasks that you are looking to do in a given day, but at the end of it, you maybe hit like 5, even 10, if anything, and at the end of it, you'll be like, oh, I did not do enough, I have no time, I didn't do what I set out to do, even though you did do 10 of your tasks that you are looking to do. Rather, a different way that can set you up for success is to actually designate your 2 or 3 super important tasks that you have to do that day in order to progress you to where you wanted to do. And then at the end of that, tack on more things that you have been looking to do that maybe aren't as important, but still push you along the way. And that way, you are setting yourself up for more success. You get the things that you need to done and prioritize done. You get more things out of the way, and at the end of it, you have a sense of accomplishment, and it kind of feeds back on itself, right? The more things that you are able to do, the more things that you want to keep on doing. So bottom line is, step 1 is to reflect. Step 2 is to set a goal. Step 3 is to reverse engineer that goal. Step 4 is to actually schedule that goal. And step 5 is to actually act on that goal. In my next video, I'll actually show you how I've applied this to my goals for 2021. And just to give you an example of things that I'm working on that I'm using this process for. Now, I also have these 2 videos over here and over here that may help you along on your journey to live a better life, live a more powerful life in all facets. I also have these 2 other videos that can help you along on your journey in order to live your most powerful life. Now, so if you've got something out of this, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.